The reason why we keep an American flag flying over our house, and the reason for me always having one of the American flags in my car is pretty simple. I am thankful for everyone, every man, every woman who served for the United States of America and also who has served for their home country. Tomorrow is Veterans Day. This flag behind me I got in Afghanistan when I was there, and I had this in my room even though I was not part of the United States military. I am an ex-German soldier. I went to the German army and I went to the German Air Force for many years. And today I want to thank each and every one of you for giving me the opportunity, and also thanking the military for giving me that lifetime experience. Because without the military, without serving for my country and on the same time serving your country in the US, I wouldn't be here and living in the US today. Today, as an honor to all the people who have served, I made this little video about all the things that I've experienced in the military. It's like a short video to show you what I did, and I hope you have an amazing time in the military and you can look back on your time in the military to see and appreciate how the military changed you to a better person. And hopefully you are able to experience the same thing that I've experienced last week at my son's school. Veterans Day they made in school was the first time for me attending something like that and experiencing something like that. Because in my home country, the military is not really wanted and not liked by a lot of people. And it's really hard for us to get appreciation from the citizens. So that's why I was really touched when I joined the Veterans Day in my son's school. I hope I can give back a little, and thank you for all the people also on my channel. Like maybe 90% of the people that joined me on this channel have served too. So I'm constantly surrounded by people who serve either in the US military or in the German military. So thank you, veterans, and I hope you like this video. Being a chef before joining the military, I stayed a chef when I joined for about 3 years in the German army, and I had my first contacts to helicopters in my first base. I like flying, so later then I transitioned to Air Force. After that I joined the Army again one more time, working in a hangar and seeing all kinds of different aircrafts and helicopters and flying with UE and NH-90 and stuff like that. Also had the opportunity to fly in a helicopter simulator. And as a kind of a grunt, I was able to jump on a few tanks back then. Later I transitioned back to the Air Force and became a Doorgunner on the CH-53, which brought me the joy to shoot all kinds of different guns and rifles. Flying with the helicopter through Germany showed me how overgrown our country is, how many villages and cities are built there, how less of natural forests we have left. All that kinda made me feel caged inside, something I've never experienced when I visited the US. So flying in a helicopter was like the only time I felt free in Germany. And after many training flights, I was almost ready to get deployed for my first time. But soon enough, I went over to Afghanistan, and I've seen not just Germany from above, but also Afghanistan from above. And also, I had my first near-death experience on survival sea training. I also did Syria, which I do not have any video material here. You can see me spew out a lot of water after I swallowed so much water I couldn't breathe anymore. This was really intense and really tough, but the rest of it was really nice. Going out with the ship on sea, jumping into the water and staying there on the rescue islands for a couple of hours until we got picked up and brought back again with a helicopter was amazing. So I really enjoyed this training on open sea. And finally, after training on the MG3, we were able to shoot another iconic rifle, which is the Browning. But this one was built by FN Herstal, and it was a Browning on steroids, I tell you. This one shot 1100 rounds per minute. Shooting and training alongside American soldiers was always a huge honor to me. As someone who has relatives in the US and traveled to the US a couple of times before, and talking to the Americans on base was something special to me because it kind of felt I was home. Even though I've never lived in the US before, I appreciated the American food in the American DFACs, especially in Bagram, and later on we had one again in Mazar Sharif. So I always went up there for breakfast and whenever I could, because your food was so much better than the German stuff. Many times I've experienced zero-G flights, so if you know that feeling, I think there's nothing better. Flying through the cold and flying through the heat is definitely not for soft people, so sweating and freezing just belonged to the job, and I kinda endured it. Tried to focus on the moment alone whenever I experienced those climatic changes. We've seen crazy places like this valley that you might know from 21 Strong, where the big battle happened. So I've seen a lot of places I only knew from movies before. Mostly flying around in North Afghanistan from Maimaneh, Mazar Sharif to Kunduz. And later I made a flight down to Bagram, which was amazing. So everyone who served in Bagram, hope you're still fine, hope you're good. And that's where I bought one of the American flags and one of my son's plushies. So if you have that bear with the Bagram Airfields t-shirt, I got one too. Seeing Afghanistan from above changed my view on a lot of things. Especially changing the view like this made up my mind, and I've seen the world totally different from back then. Serving in the military doesn't just change the way you look at the world, it also changes you inside, and I think I speak for everyone who went through this process, because serving does not just mean to put your life on the line. It also means letting go of your former self and saying hello to all the change in your life. So if the military changed your life, I hope it changed it for the better, and that's why everyone who served should be appreciated for being selfless and joining a better cause in the hope to change something in the world and do something for your country. This is definitely one of the highest parts of patriotism I think you can offer. For everyone who's wondering what the German military did up in Afghanistan, yes, we had the northern part, as I said, and we were the ones who flew all kinds of medical missions, transporting missions. So we transported Americans, we transported all people from other allied countries. But I remember a lot of flights flying Americans, CIA, all the military intelligence guys to some places that we don't even know what they did, and we didn't have to know. But knowing that we saved a couple of people, not just our own soldiers' lives, but also a couple Americans that we flew back in the middle of the night to get them into a hospital or whatever, kind of made me proud of what I did, and I knew it wasn't in vain. We had a clear mission here, and we were always able to fulfill the mission. This just made me feel a little more important. Maybe that sounds stupid, but I knew I was there for a reason and I could do my part for a bigger picture. I was never involved in a firefight. About that I'm really glad. I was trained to do so. I was always ready to shoot, but I've never had to. I just wanted to be transparent on that. I'm not claiming I'm a war hero or something, because I'm not. I just did my part like everyone else. But I've seen a lot of people, a lot of wounded people on our helicopter we had to bring out and bring to a hospital. So I've seen scary things, I've seen sad things. I know there were many more soldiers wounded there that we couldn't fly out. I think most of the times the Americans took it in their own hands and flew their soldiers back to Bagram or wherever they needed them to be. But we did what we could, and I'm glad we were able to help. Even though I did 6 deployments and spent 310 days in Afghanistan and many more days on any training exercises we did all around Germany, and I missed those maybe 360 days and the first 2 years of my son's life, which still to this day kind of break my heart. I knew that I made the decision way before I had him, and I hope he will someday understand what I did for him and for our country and also for our life, because now and today we are living in the US, in a country that's free and even more free than any other country in this world. Even though I had to go a lot of hard times, I'm still glad that I served, because without it I wouldn't be the man I am today. So happy Veterans Day to all of you. See you next week with a new video on my channel.